right, well, welcome to Crossing Streamz. I'm Sean, and that's Anthony. This is an hour-long discussion, variety, what have you, knowledge database of movies, everything retro to current. This week, for the inaugural episode, we'll be talking about Ghostbusters, 1984 cult classic. Anthony, did you like this movie?
I liked it in 1984.
Yeah.
And when I saw it the second time, well, I've seen it a few times before yesterday when I watched it again. And I would have to say that I enjoyed it more when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I will say that.
Yeah. Well, as you know, movies, especially movies that are streaming, are definitely overtaking brick and mortar stores, Blockbuster, the local mom and pops videos. In terms of sales, subscription services, things like that. On Crossing the Streams, it's very relevant. I mean, we can stream anything here from Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, but there was something about Blockbuster in the news a couple of days ago. Anthony, you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, apparently they're closing about 300 stores, which means all those people will be out of a job, which they should have seen it coming, is what I would say. Hopefully they were all looking for jobs anyways. If I worked at a Blockbuster, that's what I would have been doing, preparing myself for the demise of the brick and mortar stores.
Now, when do you think the brick and mortar stores really started going out of business? Like when VHS converted to DVD, even before VHS. I mean, during VHS, when it was so easy to copy and dub movies from a VHS to a blank VHS, or with the advent of DVD burning, or with broadband internet and services like Netflix and Hulu?
I think the initial was probably during when DVD started, because computers made it so easy to duplicate a DVD, and then from there it just went downhill. Now it's a lot easier to torrent things, and just I can torrent. Well, not me, but someone else can torrent a file and send it to you in an email, or share it with you in Dropbox. There's so many ways to actually get something without going to the store, without leaving your home.
Well, let's not give our listeners any ideas on any
That's right. You should not be doing
unethical
that.
activities.
That's right.
But
because we pay for our services, we have Netflix and Amazon Prime and all that. And if you guys want to sponsor us, you can do that.
So just to go over what streaming services do you use right now? I mean, you mentioned Netflix and Amazon Prime. Mm-hmm. What else do you use out there to currently stream your movies?
Those are my two main sources. I do have HBO Go and on demand on my computer. I'm not sure if that's considered streaming, because it's something that's on your cable box or your DirecTV box, whatever you use. It's something that you subscribe to. I mean, much like Netflix and all that, but it's something that you can actually get on your cable provider. Well, through your cable provider.
Sure.
So I have those sources as well. I also use YouTube. Has free movies now. What else? I've got a Roku, so my Roku box has a lot of free channels that are available that show decent movies, more B movies than anything, but still great to watch.
Well, I think YouTube has a lot of B and C- to C- movies.
Right.
I was looking through there the other day, and the free ones, I don't know. They're just not that. They're not. They're like Police Academy 6 caliber, I would say.
Hey, that's not an A movie.
Not even Bobcat Goldthwait would do Police Academy 6.
Now he would.
Yeah, well, Bobcat actually does a lot of movies, a lot of independent directing now. Him and Robin Williams do a lot of stuff, and he's got a couple on Netflix. Yeah, I heard an interview with him the other day, and if you haven't seen it, there's a clip, and I think it's still on YouTube, where he was banned from The Tonight Show because he set a couch on fire.
Classic Bobcat.
Classic, but I mean, he even admits that that was a Bobcat character. I mean, he was a character, and I'll let the viewers in on a little secret. Those shows are somewhat staged. They tell them to do certain stuff. They have pre-interviews, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
I'm not going to get into that. That's not what this show's about.
Yep.
But going back to our original topic, streaming sites, Netflix and Amazon Prime, like you said, you can stream that on almost anything now. PS3, Xbox, computer, Roku.
All your mobile devices.
Exactly. Your iOS devices can do Amazon Prime. Android and iOS can do Netflix, Crackle. I have Crackle on my Xbox.
Yep.
You can get it on your computer.
I forgot about Crackle.
Crackle.com. There's another streaming device, and I can't remember what it is right now. There's the Roku, and there's the Western Digital device. But
there are a ton of them out there. There's Boxy.
Boxy, that's what I was thinking of. Boxy is great. Google TV. You can watch your Google Play stuff on Google TV.
Yep.
For most of the new Google TV devices, there's an update coming soon, and our friends over at Android Authority talk about that a lot. Where you soon will be able to do Amazon streaming through an integrated app. But again, I'm not going to step on their toes because Android Authority is a completely different topic.
Sure.
This is movies, not cell phones. But there's a lot of streaming sites out there. Netflix is cheap. What, $7.99, $8 a month?
Yeah, it's very doable. Very doable.
Hulu, I believe, is the same thing. Same price, $7.99, $6.99, something like that.
Yep, $7.99.
The nice thing about Hulu Plus is they have a lot of TV shows and TV shows that are relevant, like last week's episode of The Office or last week's episode of, whatever you watch on TV.
Parks and Rec.
Yeah, I don't watch much television aside from the reruns. It's between 6 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
But you can get a lot of that stuff. Downside of Hulu Plus, I think, if I'm paying $8 a month for a service, I don't want to watch commercials.
Yeah.
But that's me.
I agree. I mean, on the plus side, you're not watching as many commercials.
You're not, and unfortunately, you don't have the DVR capability of fast forwarding.
Right, and you have to watch it. There's no way you can't fast forward. If you pause it, it's going to play right there. There's nothing you could do. You have to watch it.
Yeah. Amazon Prime is, I think, my favorite source, only because it's on my Xbox. And if I'm not playing a game on my Xbox, watching a movie on my Xbox, they add tons of free movies. Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol is on there now.
Yep, sure is.
Not that I've seen it, but it's on there and it's free if you have Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime uses a different pricing model. It's $79.99 per year, billed up front.
Which I prefer.
I prefer that too. Now, they were going with a $7.99 a month model for about an hour and a half. They tried that, and that didn't work out too well. Or they decided they didn't want to impede on Netflix, which I don't know why they wouldn't, because they're a competitor.
Right, exactly.
But they have. I think Amazon Prime has more relevant stuff, and you have the option to buy TV episodes per episode the whole season, or it's a lot like iTunes, where you can buy upfront the season before it airs or while it's airing. That's my preference. Crackle, that's free. Get on your streaming device. Yeah, your gaming device, your PC. YouTube can be free if you don't want to watch a good movie. If you want to watch that Weekend at Bernie's direct to DVD, you can watch it on YouTube. There are some, YouTube integrates with Google Play. You can buy them on there too. HBO Go is a subscription base. You have to have it through your television provider.
Yep.
You can get it on your iPad. You can get it on your. I don't believe it's on Amazon device or Android devices yet.
No, it's there.
Oh, is it?
Yep, okay. Sure is.
You can get it on your game console, PS3, Xbox, HBO Go. Are there any? You have HBO Go. Are there any other like Stars or Cinemax to go or anything like that?
Cinemax has one, and Showtime has one.
Okay, no Stars.
No. There isn't a Stars one, which Netflix used to have. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
they used to have Stars up there. But
that was a big thing for a while.
Yeah, I used to watch it all the time because I used to be a big fan of Spartacus, and that would come on there. But going into what you were just talking about with the different movie channels, the premium channels that have it, only certain cable providers are, what's the word I'm looking for? Participating in it.
Okay.
So like my HBO Go won't work on my Roku because Xfinity isn't partnered up with them or something. I don't know, but it works on my, I'm sure you know, it works on my Xbox. It's not on PS3, I don't think.
No. Okay.
No, but I mean it works with everything else, on my mobile devices. But so it's funny, like the Showtime one won't work on anything because I don't have the cable provider that participates in that. So.
Well, so it's you got call your local cable provider.
Well, when you go to the actual site, it'll ask you what cable provider you have.
Sure.
So, if you're one of the lucky ones, then you're good.
Fair enough. Well, so to the meat and potatoes of our show tonight, we are reviewing. What did you say? About 30 years too late. The original Ghostbusters. Wikipedia calls Ghostbusters a whole lot of things. Basically, it's my 30-second synopsis is 4 guys who go out are interested in paranormal. Well, 3 guys that are interested in paranormal activity, and 1 guy who's there for the paycheck. And they go out and they catch ghosts.
Yep.
The movie did pretty well. For an initial budget of $30 million in 1984, grossed $291 million worldwide. A sequel, Ghostbusters 2 in 1989, 2 animated series spin-offs, and there's still a lot of talk of a third sequel or of a second sequel, Ghostbusters 3. It's still up in the air. I'd love to see it. It really came about when they made the Ghostbusters game for current generation game consoles.
Yep, which was a good game. I liked it.
I never played it. What are your takeaways from the game?
I enjoyed it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not sure if you have the information there, but I believe it was the real the voices. They actually wrote the storyline behind the game. And I believe they were the voices as well. The original, characters of the movie were the voices, the original actors.
Let's see here.
But I know they wrote it.
Okay. I don't know that they didn't have a big role in the game.
No, I thought they wrote it.
Well, they wrote the game.
Okay.
But maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing here. At any rate, yeah, I'm not that I don't have that information at hand, but I know they wrote that, and then they were, kind of going in reverse order, so to speak, where a movie usually becomes a game to support the movie. In this case, the game was kind of put out as like when TV shows put out a 2-hour pilot to see if they'll be able to get picked up if the ratings are good. Same idea. They put out a video game because it doesn't cost nearly as much to produce as creating a movie that they could lose their shirts on. The studio could lose, not lose their shirts, but could lose, a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
So, let's see. Ghostbusters, again, 1984. Bill Murray, Dr. Peter Venkman, probably one of the greatest comedic minds of that time, and probably still is. I mean, Dan Aykroyd, Dr. Ray Stantz. Great supporting guy, just goofy guy, just in general.
And he really plays that nerdy doctor really well.
He does it perfectly. But, I mean, he's a chameleon. He's a great actor. He's a great comedic actor. I don't know that I've seen him in many, if any, dramas. Like Bill Murray started to branch out into the late 90s and early 2000s with Lost in Translation and a couple other movies that he did. Harold Ramis, Dr. Egon Spengler, the king nerd, if you will.
Yeah.
He makes all the guys from Revenge of the Nerds look like a D- student.
That's right.
Winston Zeddemore, who was the Ghostbuster for pay.
Oh, the black guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here's the funny thing about his character was actually originally written for Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Eddie Murphy. Well, because all those guys were on Saturday Night Live.
Which makes sense, yeah. Which makes sense,
but maybe not together, but
right.
you know, because Bill Murray and Dan Aykroyd were on Ghostbusters, or excuse me, on Saturday Night Live for the first season or two, maybe 3. Eddie Murphy came in the early '80s, but that was at the height of his fame. You know, when Raw just came. When
he was busy doing Beverly Hills Cop and.
Well, I think that was '84 was when 84 was when Delirious came out.
Was it?
So he was just getting to, you know, he was like here, and he was up here with 48 Hours and Beverly Hills Cop, which came out a little bit later in the '80s.
What kind of movie would that have been if Eddie Murphy was there?
You know,
jeez.
I really think that Ernie Hudson played Winston as a very not downtrodden and dapper, but he kind of hung out in the background really well.
Right. And Eddie Murphy wouldn't have been doing that.
Eddie Murphy, the tone would be completely different because Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, they were very subtle with their humor, very dry, and Eddie Murphy was like, "Here I am, bam," you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he was 22 at the time, so he wouldn't have fit in with the other guys who were a lot older.
Right.
So, but you know, on the other side of the coin, Peter Venkman was originally written for John Belushi.
Ooh, but this was after. Yeah. Well, this was before his death, I guess.
No, this was after he died.
No, I mean they wrote it for him before his death.
Oh yeah. They wrote it before he died, and then he died, and obviously, well, actually, he turned it down originally, and then when they were filming the movie, or right before they started filming the movie, is when he died.
Yikes.
And Slimer is actually on set. They referred to Slimer as John Belushi's ghost.
Speaking of Slimer, they were all crazy looking puppets. All the ghosts were crazy looking puppets. I wonder who did the puppeteering for that.
Yeah. Were they puppets or were they CGI?
No, they were puppets.
I know Slimer was CGI.
No, Slimer was a puppet. Yeah.
Well, because he was transparent though.
Yeah, but they just did like a camera trick. I don't know what the technical term is. They just use special effects, kind of like when you watch like a green screen. Yep.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah, if you watch it, obviously you did watch it, but to the people listening, if you watch it and you see all the ghosts, you're like, oh my god, these are all Muppets.
Well, and you know they never named Slimer in either of the movies.
No, they did in the cartoon though.
That's where they actually named him Slimer.
Right.
I love in the second one though, or was it this? Yeah, it's the second one where they let them all out, and he's driving the bus.
Oh yeah.
He's got the police cap on, or the bus driver cap on.
Picking people up.
Other actors in the movie. Sigourney Weaver played Dana Barrett, Peter Venkman's
love interest.
Initially attempted conquest and then love interest. When she finally reciprocated, and then the cornerstone of the cast, in my opinion, Rick Moranis as accountant Louis Tully.
He was great in this movie.
The part was originally written for John Candy. Now that would have been great because I think his role would have been a lot bigger if John Candy was Louis Tully, because he's just he's like Chris Farley. He's got that physical comedy about him.
Right.
Not nearly as obnoxious as Chris Farley, but it would have been. But he was busy. He was doing something. He might have been doing Planes, Trains, and Automobiles or something with Steve Martin at the time.
Which was a great movie. But imagine this movie with Eddie Murphy and John Candy. How long would this movie have been? It would have been just like 3 hours long because they would have had to write more parts for them. Mm-hmm. Especially for Eddie Murphy because that was a small role for Ernie Hudson.
Yeah,
go ahead.
It would have been good as an initial movie role for Eddie Murphy, but he was too big of a star to have that small of a part at the time.
Right.
I mean, so I think the cast was, at the time and even still, the cast was perfect to create that atmosphere and that, the tone of the overall tone of the movie.
Right. Can I say something about Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. I'm not a big fan of her looks per se. It's kind of like Susan Sarandon. Like everybody thinks Susan Sarandon is this big sex symbol, and I just don't see it. But in this movie, she was hot, dude.
I think a lot of it too is, I mean, it's not just, you know, when you see him on the red carpet or when you see him in a different movie, you know, it's the clothing worn, like that dress with the off the shoulder thing. You
Dude,
know,
she was hot.
And the hair and the makeup really, you know, really, yeah. Like I'm not a big, you know, Sigourney Weaver fan, and in the second one, I think she looked a little bit more buttoned down, which I kind of liked a little better.
Oh, the second one with the ugly baby.
Yeah, the ugly baby and the awesome painting.
That's right, Vigo.
Vigo, the yeah,
whatever his name was.
Yeah,
yeah, but she was hot in this movie. I thought she pretty hot.
Yeah. So my favorite thing that most people don't know about this movie is Zool, excuse me.
Oh, Zool was hot too.
Zool was a supermodel from Czechoslovakia at the time, I believe.
Okay.
Originally, that role was supposed to be, and you'll laugh at this.
Eddie Murphy.
No. So
John Candy.
No, you'll never get it. So Zool was like this badass chick, right?
Yeah.
You know, some people thought it was Prince at first, with like wacky red contacts and, you know, an outfit that was a little bit more conservative than Prince would wear at the time. Right. Had it been this other person, they would have been in a business suit, like a demonic business suit, like almost like a Jeff Dunham. The guy with the Muppets.
Male or female?
It would have been a male dude. A male dude. It would have been a male actor.
A male dude guy.
Yeah, it's so obscure you won't even get it, so I'll tell you. It was supposed to be...
Trump? Is it Trump?
No, dude, you'll never get it. It's so obscure you will never get it.
I'm ready.
They were going to have Paul Rubens. Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman.
What?
They were going to have him in a business suit and make him look a little bit more demonic than he does. You know, like a, I don't know what, like a pale Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
But, you know, obviously they didn't go with that idea, and I think that was for the best.
You know what? When you said Paul Rubens, I thought Paul Rodriguez.
Paul Rodriguez. A little different.
Yeah, a little different.
Just a shade.
Just as funny.
Yeah, that... Wow. There's a lot of deleted scenes in this movie too that they took out that would have really changed the overall story of the movie.
Sure.
You know, like when Lewis is running from the dog.
Lewis is running from the dog.
When he's running from the dog, when he's like, "Okay, who brought the dog?"
Oh yeah.
And you know, he's running from the dog that eventually overtakes him. The key, who is he? The keymaster.
Yeah.
When he was running from the dog, now the Ghostbusters were actually they were doing something else. I think they were investigating something, or they were in the firehouse or wherever. There's a deleted scene that actually shows them hiding in the bushes, watching him get taken over by the dog.
Oh, really?
So that would have definitely taken over. You know, that would have created a loop, an unanswered question, so to speak, in the movie.
That's why they took it out.
Yeah, they took that out. They took a lot of other scenes out that are actually in the DVD, the director's cut DVD.
Yeah.
But you know, one thing that I wish they would have put in the movie. I mean, they had Ecto-1, which was badass.
Yeah.
But they didn't have Ecto-2, which was the helicopter.
Oh, I don't remember that. Was that in the cartoon?
I think it was more in the cartoon. Now I had Ecto-1. And I had Ecto-2.
Okay.
But there was an Ecto-3, which was a blimp.
That makes no sense.
They had you know, throughout the stories, and I don't know if there's books or whatever on them, but they had actually up to 8 Ectos, like a submarine. I'm like, what ghosts are underwater that you need to worry about?
What is happening? A submarine? Yeah. That makes no sense.
I didn't understand it, but you know, it's, you know, I thought that was interesting.
You know what I saw that I didn't remember in the original? Well, when I saw it way back when. Not sure if it's a deleted scene or if it's something that was in an extended version. But there's a scene where all the guys are upstairs sleeping in the firehouse, and who's Dan Aykroyd's character is dreaming, and he wakes up, and there's a ghost like an angel or something, a ghost or something, and she unravels his belt and begins to do give him a little bit of fellation.
Well, that's actually
when I saw that, I was like, I don't remember this movie at all. Well, I don't remember this part at all.
It's actually in the movie.
Is it in the movie?
It's in the movie. That's actually his wife who plays the ghost.
Really? Oh, yeah. the hot chick from Spies Like Us. Isn't that his wife? Yeah, it is.
I forget what her name is.
She was one of the Russians in Spies Like Us, which is a great movie too. Yeah, she's
a model.
Yeah. I wonder if they're still married.
Why you think you can?
No.
Think you have a chance?
Well, I want to know if Dan Aykroyd's on the market.
Well, I can't find any information on it this second, so.
That probably isn't any information.
But she was a model. That's actually in the movie, and that clip was actually cut up. That's played during the Day by Day song, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Yeah. Also sung by Ray Parker Jr. That was actually a much longer scene, but they cut it up to create that montage during that song,
right?
To kind of move the story along, and just to kind of, and at the same time, I think that commercial, that pathetic commercial that they have, plays right around that same time frame too.
Does it?
Yeah, it's like I forget what the number is that they show. It's like 555 Ghost or something like that. in the VHS and DVD version.
You mean
the TV commercial.
Hold on. Let's see if this is it. Hold on. This it? Nope, that's not it. Hold on.
That's it. But basically that you should. I think you have it there.
I do, but I can't hear it.
Whatever. It's not a big deal. But
oh!
Did you get it?
Yep, I got it. You mean this one?
Yep, that's the one. They are ready to believe you. So basically, during the movie, in theaters, there was actually an 800 number that was up on the screen instead of a 555 number. And people actually could call it, and it was a recording where it would say, "We're currently out catching ghosts right now." And they got, for 6 weeks, they got like 1,000 calls an hour, every hour for 24 hours a day.
Jeez.
And it was just, it's... like now, that's nothing. That's standard marketing to have a a dial-in 800 number. But then, 1984, when you figured that was cutting edge. No one did that kind of stuff.
Right. No, you're right. By the way, I dare you to find an 80s movie that doesn't have a montage in it.
Oh, montage and closing credits. Closing credits. A closing credits theme.
Right.
So, great song. Downside of that song, even though it's such a great song, is it's a ripoff. Artist sample now. I mean, something that's not even current anymore. But the Rolling Stones got ripped off by the Verve when they did Bittersweet Symphony. Same thing happened with the Ghostbusters theme. Ray Parker Jr. sampled "I Want a New Drug" by Huey Lewis, and I don't know what the settlement was or all the details of the lawsuit, but it was a pretty big deal when you know, when that went to court and when they settled all that. And like I said, I don't know the details of it, and I don't have it in front of me, but you know, that's pretty common knowledge, I think.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Spoiler.
Yeah. So here's the question I asked you at the top, and we talked about the movie a little bit more. From the first time you saw, when was the first time you saw it? First of all, do you know how old you were?
I want to say I watched it in 1984. Might be telling my age. Let's see. I was probably 7 or 8 years old.
Okay. So in 1984, what did you think of it?
Loved it. Loved every minute of it.
How about in 2013, yesterday, when you watched it?
Don't love it.
No?
I found myself getting tired of it. I didn't want to watch it anymore.
So it was boring? Was it cartoony? Was it too hacky? Hackney?
Hackney. I feel like it was a little bit bland watching it now. Maybe it's for younger audiences, or maybe because we've been so accustomed to great special effects and, you know, big movie budget movies and things like that. Like, I don't know if maybe that has anything to do with it. I'm sure it does. You know, when I saw the puppets and stuff flying around, I cracked up because I remember those days.
It is funny. I mean, I watched it with my daughter, who's 8, probably about a month and a half ago. We watched it on cable. You know, which is good. I mean, it's not a movie. Well, I mean, I think at the time it was rated PG, but you know, it's more PG-13 because there is language and there is very few, but some sexual situations.
Right. There is a ghost giving fellatio.
Well, to a degree, yeah. But
well, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's
implied.
Yeah, implied. But in 1984, you know, any type of, you know, implying would be considered risque.
Right.
But you know, watching it on cable, and we watched Ghostbusters 2 right after, but I enjoyed watching it.
Okay.
Maybe it was because I watched it with her more, but I mean, I love that movie anyway. It's one of those movies that I can watch almost any time it's on.
Okay.
You know, so let me ask you, on a rating of 1 to 5, 1 being I won't watch it again, and 5 being I will watch it even if I just watched it 10 minutes ago.
Yeah.
What would you rate it?
I'll split it down the middle. I'll give it a 3.
A 3, so you'll watch it when you want to. You'll queue it up on DVD.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like you. I mean, if it's on TV, I'll watch it. Being that I have all these streaming services, I don't really have cable. So, but had I had cable, you know, I would definitely watch it if it's on, because you know what? Chances are, that's the only good thing that's on TV at that moment.
Well, and it is a good movie. It makes you feel like a kid.
Yeah, it is a good movie. Yeah. I watched it with my kids, and they left right before they crossed the streams. And you know what? And they did that to me once before too. They did that to me with Karate Kid. I had them sit and watch Karate Kid with me. They loved it, and they left right before the crane kick. So that's 2 movies they left before the payoff.
Did they leave because they had something to do, or because they were bored with the movie?
Well, in their defense, they had seen the one with Jaden Smith in it, the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith, which I enjoyed. I did like it, but so their heart was set on that one. Sure. And you know, I told them, you know what, you guys got to watch the original one. They sat through the whole movie, and right before the crane kick, they were gone. Like, that's what the whole movie is like, building for you for that moment, and they left. And they left right before they crossed the streams too.
Man, I think that's like that scene at the end there where Bill Murray or Peter Venkman, you know, goes through the process, you know, where they're walking up 4 at a time, you know, 4 side by side, and he goes, stick, you know, light them up.
Yep.
Let's send this prehistoric bitch back to the Stone Age.
That was great.
That is a wonderfully done scene. You know, I mean, they're lit well. You know, the script is brief, but it's, you know, it's to the point. It's hilarious. Yeah. Because I think because of the way he delivers it.
Yeah.
But it's so relevant to the scene too. You know, and it gets you pumped for what's about to happen.
Right. and they don't know if impending doom is around the corner. They don't know what's going to happen when they cross the streams, and when Bill Murray looks at Dan Aykroyd and says, "Hey Ray, I see you on the other side."
Yep.
That was great.
Yep. No music needed.
Nothing.
You know, it's just the intense, you know, the wind and everything else. Although at that scene when they neutralize Gozer or Zul,
yep,
it's kind of underwhelming. You know, they're like,
it's not really a big thing, right?
Just fell off of a New York high-rise. They were paralyzed for a second. They go through that great montage, that great scene that we just talked about.
Yep.
And then they're like, well, now what? And then you hear the voiceover, who's Ivan Reitman, by the way.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the director. Oh no, I'm sorry. That he did the. You know what? Let me back up. Gozer the Gozerian was the chick at the end who looked like Prince. Zul was who took over Dana's body, Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
That was Ivan Reitman.
Okay.
That was excuse me. So when they zap Gozer, presumably back to the Stone Age, it's so underwhelming. And then it's clear your minds. The one problem I have with it when he explains it and he says, "Oh, I get it. So if we think of J. Edgar Hoover will come back. Why didn't
he show up?
Exactly.
Right?
I wanted to see like J. Edgar Hoover, but not like J. Edgar Hoover as you see him. I wanted to see like a 30s mobster, like with the pinstripe suit and the pink shirt and the fedora. That would have been, But the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, which was foreshadowed twice in the movie.
Yeah, I saw the marshmallows on Dana's table.
Mm-hmm. There's a sign on one of the buildings too.
Okay.
But I guess for me to answer those questions, I think the movie holds up to a degree.
Mm.
I mean, obviously, it's a movie that doesn't require a lot of CGI. I mean, you definitely need it for the proton blasters, which when I was a kid, I had one. I had the proton backpack.
Oh, you bastard! I did.
The plastic one, and I had one of the traps too.
Did you?
Dude, I did.
Did you catch anything?
Awesome. No, it didn't work. It didn't work as described.
Damn it!
This was before they put those warning labels on the packages, like with Superman, warning: you can't fly when wearing this cape. Yeah, this was before. It didn't.
Well, speaking of like the toys and stuff, they made a ton of money and continue to make a ton of money off of merchandising.
Dude, I still have at my parents' house a Dr. Peter Venkman, like 6-inch action figure. He's got the hole in his back for a proton pack, which was lost 2 years ago.
Right.
And I think his eyes are green.
Uh-huh.
And I had a Slimer. It was like almost like a dog toy Slimer, where you'd squeeze it and then go like a Pillsbury Doughboy almost.
Yeah.
I had, like I said, I had Ecto 1 and Ecto 2. Ecto 2, I don't remember what happened to it, but I think Ecto 1 is still at my parents' house.
Yeah, they made a ton of money off of that.
They made books.
They're still making. My son he's 13 and he has a Ghostbusters shirt with the ghost no ghost emblem.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah. And then every time he goes into GameStop, they're like, "Dude, cool shirt, man."
It's a cool shirt.
Because when you got a Ghostbusters shirt on, you get a lot of geek cred for that.
You do, man. Retro geek cred.
That's right.
So, but yeah, I mean, the movie's great. I mean, it's not a CGI movie. Like I said, it doesn't need CGI. I mean, it's no Avengers movie with all the action, like 2 hours of the 2.5-hour movie that's action. Right. There's a lot of good story in there. I think it spans all ages. Yep. And I would watch it almost any time it's on, unless I had something to do or, I'd watch it especially if I had work to do.
Sure. It's great for background noise.
Oh, absolutely. And
because when you look at it, you know exactly where you are because you remember the movie. You don't have to listen too hard.
Absolutely. You can not watch it forever and watch it once and halfway through you're like, "Oh yeah, okay, so this happened and then this happened." And okay, so here I am.
Right.
They're in the ballroom. Although, you know what I do like in the second one is when I think it's one of the first few sequences, is when they're in the courthouse and the judge just gets more and more pissed off until the Scarelli brothers pop out. They're on the because the judge put them away for he gave them the electric chair.
I don't remember 2 that much.
2 was the general premise of 2 I think was a little weaker. Well, like most sequels. I mean, it was no Rocky 2.
Right. No Terminator 2.
Oh,
which I just watched today.
That's like the sequel of sequels, I think.
That was the best sequel ever.
Oh, I would agree. I
watched that today. It's on Netflix, people. T2. Just look for T2.
T2. It's on Prime.
See? Prime yeah, usually they have a lot of the same movies.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess to cover what we've talked about just real briefly, I mean, we talked about Ghostbusters for a majority of the show, but the premise of this show, Crossing the Streamz, is a weekly podcast, regularly on Wednesdays, I think 7 or 8 o'clock. We haven't really firmed up the details on the time, but it's obviously it's based on our availability. If you want to join us, we're open to that idea. This is still in its embryonic stages. Yep. Have like a guest host or someone to pop in, talk about a movie. We'll give homework assignments. Obviously, we couldn't this time because, well, this is the first show. So we watch Ghostbusters, and we're talking about it with just us. A majority of the movies that we're going to cover are on Netflix, Amazon Prime, Crackle, although the content on Crackle is, not as rich. Probably not YouTube so much, just because, like I said, those movies are like Weekend at Bernie's direct to DVD.
Which we can do. That's okay. We can do one of those.
Yeah, maybe at some point. I think when at some point I think we might be able to. HBO Go, your on-demand system with your cable provider.
Right.
I don't have a Roku, but it's not like I can't get any of the movies that are on Roku or on anywhere else that aren't on Amazon Prime or on Netflix.
Yep.
So we'll be pulling a lot of our resources from there. Maybe there are some abstract things that we won't, like Battle Royale, which is the premise for the Hunger Games. Probably not on any of the streaming services because it's Japanese. It's got subtitles.
Yep.
Not really big in the States. Not like Crouching Tiger was. So, we'll be going through a couple movies. We're going to try to keep it with one of the ones that are free or that don't have any extra cost beyond the initial subscription. So with that, what we're going to do next week is cover Teen Wolf, a movie that I actually have never seen. Anthony has seen it.
It sounds like you have a Teen Wolf right now. Someone just changed.
Got a Teen Beagle downstairs. So we'll be covering Teen Wolf, like I said, a movie that I've never seen. Anthony has seen it. But Teen Wolf came out in 1986. What's that?
Teen Wolf is available on Netflix right now.
Yep, it's free for streaming on Netflix. Streaming, not DVD, right?
Yep, streaming. Yep.
Okay.
Now, just to let you guys know, Ghostbusters is not available streaming, but we figured we would start with that one since the name of the show is Crossing Streamz and it has a connection, so that's what we went with. So every movie here on out will be streaming.
Generally speaking, I mean, as much as best. I mean, it's not like we're going to run out of content ever.
We're never going to run out of content.
Yeah, and it's not going to get to the point where we're watching Casablanca and Charlie Chaplin. I mean, that's forever away. But at any rate, like you said, Teen Wolf, not Teen Wolf 2, not Teen Wolf the TV show on CBS in the 80s, not Teen Wolf on MTV now, but Teen Wolf starring Michael J. Fox from 1986.
That's the way he sounds to me.
Can you do that again?
Doc! We're going back to 1985!
Nice. So with that,
also we want to give people a chance to send us some movies they might want us to review as well. That there are different avenues. We have a community, we have a page on Google Plus as well. We have a page on Facebook. We have a Twitter account. We have email. All of those different avenues. Just put Crossing Streamz. So our email is crossingstreamz@gmail.com. Twitter is Crossing Streamz.
That's streams with a Z.
Streams with a Z.
Not an S.
That's right. That's right. Facebook.com/Crossing Streamz.
What is did you use the for the pages? Have you used all the same picture so that you know, if they pull up Crossing Streamz and it's the wrong one, you know, they can look at the picture and see, you know, what it is? Or have you gotten that far, the avatar?
Well, what we're gonna do is from here on out, which is what I think we did this on the community page or the regular page. I'm not sure which Google page we did it on.
I think it's on the community page.
Community page.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the community page has one does not simply cross the streams. I think something like that.
I think I changed it. I think
Did you?
I think I changed it to the movie poster. I think we should just run with this idea. We'll have the movie poster. We'll try to get the original, and you know, Google Images returns so many fan created ones, so we'll try to get the real movie poster. But in some cases, we might be dipshits and put the wrong one up.
That's right.
But yeah, I think what we'll do is we'll have the movie poster.
Just make sure you put you turn your safe search on when you look for Teen Wolf.
I don't want to know.
You never know what's gonna pop up there.
I have my safe search on, thankfully.
I don't.
So at Crossing Streamz with a Z, Facebook.com/Crossing Streamz, Google Plus. We have a Crossing Streamz community. We also have a Crossing Streamz page. I think any suggestions that you can make, if you want to sit in, if you have any, you know, any input, this is in its embryonic stage.
That's right.
And you know, we put this out because we like movies, but at the same time because we want to be entertaining, and we're not entertaining if we're not covering what you want.
And we have nothing else to do, so.
It's only 9 o'clock on a Wednesday.
See, we filled up an hour. It's okay.
We did.
That's what I like to call a show.
That is a show, and I think we should call it a wrap.
Yeah.
I think we're done.
All
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you next week.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys.